Good morning and welcome to the Jon DiVito Show. That's right, I am back and I'm recording this show. I am not broadcasting this one live, and this one's going to be brief, maybe 15 to 20 minutes to let you know what to expect in the new season of the Jon DiVito Show. It's been quite some time since I've been on. I've been busy. I've had a lot of things going on in my life, and a lot of it's been good. My daughter, as you all know, Caitlin, who has been on many of the shows with me here, finally went off to college. She is thriving. She is spreading her wings. She is embracing the college experience and is doing really, really well. It's such a pleasure to see one of your children go out into the world, sink their teeth in, and really begin to succeed. It's been wonderful to see it. So it's been great, but it's also been hard. I mean, as many of you know, my daughter had been homeschooling through high school, and she and I spent a lot of time together. So even though I'm extremely happy for her, it's also very difficult to see her leave. And, I miss her on a daily basis, but the enjoyment that I get from seeing her going to college, she is doing very well in her classes. She has joined a bunch of different clubs. She's made a lot of new friends. It has been just amazing for her, and it gives a parent a certain sense of satisfaction that, it's something I haven't experienced before. It's really just a wonderful feeling. And, a lot of you know that I talk a lot about my family on the show. And my kids are getting older. My son, my oldest, is 20 years old. My daughter is 18. My son, is 17. And then my youngest is 14 and a freshman in high school. So it amazes me how quickly time goes. It amazes me how quickly your children grow up. So if you happen to be listening to my voice and you have young children, or you're about to have children, or you're spending all night waking up to a screaming baby, or you're changing diapers, or whatever it may be, just believe me when I tell you, enjoy every minute that you can, live in the present. I know it's hard, but before you know it, literally in the blink of an eye, your kids will be in their high school years, in their college years, and beyond, and they will be gone. So it's hard when they move on because really, when you become a parent, your life shifts from worrying about yourself and taking care of your self interests, and it moves to really taking care of your children and living through your children and experiencing things through your children's eyes. So when they leave, it leaves a sense of emptiness in you. And again, I still have um, three of my children are still at home. My son Matt, who's my oldest, is on the autism spectrum. He's doing great. He's working at Market Basket. He's doing movies. He just returned from a trip with my wife to Florida. He's doing great. My youngest two are doing very well, both in high school, both thriving in their lives. But, it's coming, and I can feel that I'm going to be an empty nester soon, and it's really hard to think about because being a father has been such an important part of my life. And, I know that's not going to end when they leave my house and they have jobs and they have their own families, but it's not going to be the same. It's going to be different. So I guess my point is for anyone out there that has young children, enjoy every minute, be present in their lives, enjoy the drives to school, enjoy the drives to sporting events, enjoy the time that you have with them. Because as they get a little bit older, they're going to want to spend more time with their friends, and that's understandable because that's what kids do. But just enjoy the chance you have to spend as much time as you have with your family and be a productive father, a productive parent, and just be there for them because it's such a wonderful and rewarding experience. So anyway, that's a little bit of my personal life. Another thing that's been kind of difficult for me over the last several months is many of you probably remember, I have a father that had dementia and he's been having some health problems where we finally had to make the big move and move him into assisted living. So my father was living in a memory care unit in a wonderful assisted living facility in Worcester, Massachusetts. And I'm going to mention the name of this facility because they've really been amazing so far. It's Eisenberg Assisted Living. They're located in Worcester, Massachusetts. And I'll tell you, if you're in the central Massachusetts area and you're looking for a place to put one of your loved ones so they're safe and they're taken care of, I can't recommend this place high enough. It's been an amazing place, and no, I'm not getting paid for this endorsement, but I just want to say that it's been amazing, and they're really taking a good care of my father. It's very difficult to watch him struggle with his memory and struggle with his health. But I know that we're doing what's best for him. And, I pray to God every night that he's going to be okay. But, I know that at his point in his life, where he's going to be 83 in a couple of weeks, it is, it's very difficult to watch him, struggle. So, anyway, that being said, I wanted to move forward and talk about some of the things that are going on in the world right now. I mean, literally, I haven't done a show live since the spring. It amazes me what a rotting cesspool our country has turned into, what a rotting cesspool this world has turned into. When you think back upon the Trump administration, back when he was president, all the liberals were all upset about the mean tweets. It was the mean tweets. Donald Trump's not a good guy. Well, you know what? I would take those mean tweets right now and really have some world peace. I mean, since we've had this new clown in office, Joe Biden, we're talking about the war in Ukraine. We're talking about what's happening in Israel right now and the Gaza Strip. We're talking about the botched withdrawal in Afghanistan. I mean, Joe Biden has completely mucked up every situation that he's looked into. And when he won the presidency, of course, I think he cheated. I think many of us think he cheated. But when he won the presidency, I knew I wasn't going to like him, but I didn't expect he was going to be this much of an incompetent fool. Now, and that makes you think about it. Is it truly incompetence, or is it all part of the plan? Is he part of the plan, the Great Reset, Agenda 2030? Is he one of the ones that's helping to carry out this plan of one world government? I think he is. I mean, I don't think he's the person that's bright enough to pull these strings on his own, but I do think whoever his overlords are, maybe Obama, Klaus Schwab, Soros, whoever they may be, whoever his overlords are, the rich Illuminati, they are the ones that are pulling his strings. They are the ones that are controlling these different things that he's doing, these horrible decisions that he's making. And I'm 55 years old. I have never seen anything like this in my life. And if you are a liberal to the left, I can't imagine that you're happy with the way this country's going. I mean, again, I haven't spoken to all the liberals out there, but I've spoken to a few. And most, when you get them one on one, will admit that Biden is a complete and utter failure. I mean, if you look at what's happening at the border, I mean, how many terrorists have slipped into this country right now through the open border? There is no attempt whatsoever to stop the flow of people into this country. We don't know who these people are. I'm sure a lot of them are good people, but a lot of them are probably criminals. A lot of them could be terrorists. A lot of them could be people that want to destroy our country. And who knows where these people are in our country now? They could be setting up terror cells all throughout our country, and Joe Biden doesn't care. Joe Biden has purposely left that border open. You can't tell me it's incompetence. It's part of the plan. These liberals, these communists, these fascists, whatever you want to call them, they are intent on destroying our country. They are intent on erasing our history by tearing down statues, canceling holidays, and it's just blatant what's going on. I mean, this is how fascism works. This is how communism works. And that is what we are seeing in our country today. So I am saying to everybody out there, anyone that can listen to my voice, anyone that is concerned about the direction of our country, you need to be active. You need to shout from the rooftops. You need to post on social media. You need to do whatever you can to get the word out that what's happening in this country and in this world right now is not acceptable. Now, we can all hope that Donald Trump is going to be back as president in 2024. Now, I have no doubt whatsoever that he is going to get more legitimate votes than Biden or anybody else that runs against him. But there is no guarantee whatsoever that the left or the communists are not going to cheat again. We all know that they cheated the first time. We all know that what happened in 2020 was a travesty to America. It was a travesty to the world. And I think right now the only person that can really solve these problems is if we get Donald J. Trump back into office. But it amazes me that the left is still putting forward Joe Biden. I mean, how can anyone take this man seriously? How can anyone look at Joe Biden and think this demented old fool can actually run the country and run the world? I mean, from my perspective, it's obviously a plan. He is a puppet. I'm not sure who the person is that has the hand up the back of his shirt and is controlling his voice like a ventriloquist does. I mean, but Biden is nothing more than a ventriloquist dummy. And I mean, maybe it's Obama back there pulling the strings. Maybe it's Obama, the one with his hand up the back of Biden's shirt. But if this clown is elected again, whether it's legitimate, which none of us believe is really true, or if they cheat again to get this clown back in office, you could put a bow in the United States of America, wrap it up, and put it away because this thing is going to be over. Now, I'll tell you, I have concern. I'm sure some of you feel the same way. I have concern that we are going to be heading towards a military conflict on our own soil. That is not something we've seen in a very long time. And honestly, it scares me. But I'm prepared. Are you prepared? Hopefully, all of you are prepared that if this goes down. Now, I'm not sure if you've seen in the major cities what's been happening with the Palestinians, but you've got Palestinian people that are in New York. You've got Palestinian people in large cities like Boston and all over that are now protesting against Israel, and they're protesting against the American government. And as we talked about a little bit earlier, where we have all these different people flowing into our country, again, some are probably good people, but some are probably criminals, some are probably terrorists, and I believe there is a plan to infiltrate our country through the border. Doesn't it make sense? If you are intent on destroying America and you know there's an open border, wouldn't you be sending people in through the border? People that maybe had ill intent against our country? I know I would. So it amazes me that in my 55 years, I have never seen anything like this in this country. Now, I know that some of you are probably younger than I am and you don't have as much history as I do, and some may be older than I am. But when you look at what is happening in this country right now, I have never seen it in my lifetime. I never thought we were going to be here, and I've been shooting from the rooftops for years about the Great Reset, about Agenda 2030, about all these climate initiatives, about the COVID debacle with the masking and the shots, the vax. I mean, all of these things were meant to control us. All of these things were put forward to take away our ability to make our own choices, to make us responsible and responsible basically on the government to make all of our decisions for us. So for the people out there, you need to wake up. You need to start resisting. You need to start pushing back. If the government tries with the mask mandate bullshit again, you need to refuse to wear one of those. If the vax, I'll tell you, I made the mistake of getting the vax the first time around. I believed in it. I was afraid. I thought it was the right thing to do. But now that I'm more educated on the topic, I will never get a COVID vax again. I will never put that poison into my body. I was fortunate where I haven't suffered any health issues yet because of the vax, and I'm hoping that will remain true. So there's a lot going on, and I'm not going to get into all of it today, but I wanted to let you know that the Jon DiVito Show is coming back. I'm going to be hard hitting. I'm going to do some fun shows, talking about, Halloween movies. I'm going to be doing some other things like that. I'm going to record some shows like I'm doing right now, but I also will do some live shows again. But man, we have a lot to talk about. I have a lot to update you about in my personal life. I have a lot to update you about in my, kids' lives. I mean, I'm not going to talk about them too much, but I want to continue. Since a lot of you know Caitlin, just to talk about how well she's doing, because I know so many of you followed her over the years, and you basically heard my children grow up, through COVID and things like that. And like I mentioned also, in addition to the politics, in addition to the sports, in addition to the talk about my family, I really want to get back to helping people. So if anybody out there who's listening to my voice knows of someone that's struggling, someone that maybe had something traumatic happen to them in the past, I want to be here to help. Some of you may have followed my shows that I did on the Circle of Hope School and then also the Agape Boarding School. the shows that I did basically began the collapse of those two schools. I interviewed somewhere in the vicinity of 20 ex-students, alumni of those two schools, and heard about the terrible abuses that they suffered in their lives. And honestly, that gave me a personal sense of satisfaction to that I was able to help these people to reconcile with their past and also make the people that abused them answer for the things that they did. Now, I'm not going to lie, it was very difficult to do those shows. I mean, I would interview, 4, 5, 6 people at a time that went to these schools, and I heard about the emotional abuse. I heard about the physical abuse. I heard about the sexual abuse. And I would get off the air, and it would bother me and haunt me for weeks. It still haunts me to this day. But I realized that the, I guess, for lack of a better word, trauma that I experienced in hearing these stories pales in comparison by the trauma that these people, these poor young children who are now adults, had to deal with at the hands of these evil people. I realized that this was something I wanted to do, and I know there are a lot of people out there that need help. There are a lot of people out there that maybe don't know how to get help. So if you're out there and you need my help, reach out to me. You can email me at the Jon DiVito Show at gmail.com. You can find me on Facebook, The Jon DiVito Show. DM me there. We can talk before we go on the air, and we can get a sense as to whether or not you'll feel comfortable going through the process. And if you do, I will be here to help you. So looking forward to it. Looking forward to getting back to the show. Hopefully, you guys are all enjoying this very brief recording that I did this morning. And just wanted to let you know, put you on notice that very soon the Jon DeVito Show will be back for a whole new season. And if you enjoyed me in the past, hopefully you'll come back, listen to me again, and be an active participant in my show. So I want to wish everybody a very happy Wednesday. It's hump day. Hopefully you're all doing well. Keep believing that things are going to get better. Keep believing that we are going to see this whole thing turn around. And remember, get out, speak your mind. Don't be afraid to confront people you don't agree with. Get the word out that we need to return to what we had during the previous administration, and we have another year to endure with this demented fool as our president. And hopefully, after that, we will have Trump back in office, and he can hopefully start to repair some of the major damage that this person has done over the last 3 years. All right, so I want everybody to have a wonderful week. Thank you so much for joining. And again, like I mentioned, the Jon DeVito Show will be returning very soon. I hope all of you have a great day, and thank you very much for listening. Take care. Love you all.